You're tuned in to Oilers Nation every day with Tyler Yaremchuk, live every weekday on the Nation Network YouTube.
Oilers Nation every day. The coin worked. And it was 7-2, but damn it, we were right to be positive about that game against the Anaheim Ducks. So let's break it all down with the lead. Welcome in to Oilers Nation every day. Tyler Yaremchuk with you, coming to you live from the Sports Closet studio, sportscloset.ca. It is NFL Wildcard Weekend. And if you need to stock up with gear for your favorite NFL team, they got you covered. If you're just itching, chomping at the bit to get yourself a Klim Kostin jersey, I'm sure if you go visit them at the Kingsway store, St. Albert store, or Sherwood Park Mall store, they'll be able to point you in the right direction. They'll get you hooked up. Send it away, get Kostin stitched on the back, because he might be here for the long haul, folks. That was quite the game from the man they call Klim the Dream. We are live on the Nation Network YouTube, where I want your take on last night's hockey game, because that was something. The Oilers put the boots to the Anaheim Ducks, as they should have, and we'll talk about that all. But give me your take in the Nation Network YouTube chat, and while you're there, why don't you hammer that like button as well. Dre says the Ducks scored 2 because we were short 2 likes yesterday for Jack Campbell. You know what? He got win number 81 in his career last night, and he was pretty solid. What's the rule? Don't make me tap the sign. We don't complain about Jack Campbell if his save percentage is above 900, and he was, I think, 908, 913 last night. So a solid game between the pipes for our boy Soup. More on him, more on Kostin, more on a whole bunch of things in a bit. Last night on Oilers Nation After Dark, I joined the show with Connor Halley, and there were a few people just saying, whoa, 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 you beat the Anaheim Ducks. Calm down. Don't tell me to calm down is my first response. And secondly, they did what they were supposed to do. They got the job done. That was a bad team they played, and the Oilers beat them like they were a bad team, putting up 50-plus shots on goal. The game never really in doubt at any point. It was all Oilers from the beginning until the end. Expected. Good. Check the box. What's next? A game against San Jose where you need to do the exact same thing you did last night against the Ducks, and we'll set that all up later, but I want to bring in my guy, Liam. Liam, last night, Oilers beating the hell out of the Anaheim Ducks. Felt good, maybe a bit of a confidence builder as well.
Yeah, hopefully, and good contributions from everyone, really, like Dylan Holloway obviously getting that first goal, Mr. Klim getting on the board with a couple, getting close to that hat-trick that he said he didn't deserve, but either way, it was a great performance by the Oilers. And yeah, like you said too, Jack Campbell performed well. The 2 goals that were allowed, they weren't on him at all. So Just a good game all around, a good bounce back victory.
Dry. I think I'm saying that right. He was the first comment today on the Nation Network YouTube chat. He said, just jumping in here to drop the like as I prefer to listen to the podcast, which is a weird way to say you just don't like looking at Liam and I for half an hour a day. Love to hear that Kaner might come back soon. Let's keep this momentum going. And yes, I think that's kind of the vibe and the feel on the show today is keep the momentum going if you're the Edmonton Oilers. Twisted is in, our guy. He says now if they can match a good game with another good game, we might be on to something. Twisted says, I have faith, though. Go Oilers. Lance dropped in a let's go Oilers as well. So, yeah, it was a solid win last night for the Oilers. Really nothing to complain about in that hockey game. I did think it was funny that the refs just kind of knew it was a beatdown. Like, there was the play on Hyman in the third, which was just egregious. Kevin Shattenkirk shot a puck at Matthias Janmark while he laid on the ice, and the refs were like, you can do that. Find me in the rulebook where you can't. So that was a little bit weird. But again, like the game was never in doubt, Liam.
No, they had it right from the start. But yeah, those calls were kind of nuts, especially the Hyman one. You could literally see on the replay his jersey getting tugged. And then, funnily enough, Jesse Puljujarvi gets a call against him immediately after, which I just thought was a bit of a shot against the Oilers. But either way, the Oilers didn't let the referees interfere in what was, just a good game. And that's what the Oilers need to do against these bad teams. People can say, they just beat the Ducks. Well, earlier in the season, they didn't just beat the Ducks. They simply lost to the Anaheim Ducks. So it was good to see them kind of show some confidence and some swag with it too. And just go out there. And now the big thing is you got to do the same against San Jose. That's the thing now. You have to go and beat San Jose.
100%. Captain Felton is in the chat. He says, start to snowball these wins. Hashtag good vibes only. Let's dig in to last night's victory a little bit more with three big things brought to you by Montana's. They're bringing back the viewing party this hockey season with their fantastic daily deals. Head to montanas.ca to see what they got on the go tonight and heading into what should be a fantastic weekend. Look at that. You a Caesar guy, Liam? I always forget.
Not really. But I mean, they're
Yeah.
not bad. I like a good cold beer instead.
Love it. Mario is in before we get into our three big things. I always like shouting people out who are usually podcast listeners who are jumping into the live stream. Mario says, usually listen to the podcast. First time I get to watch live. Love how fast you guys put it out, which is a compliment to you, Liam, because you're the guy in charge of putting out the podcast. So even you get a thumbs up on today's show.
Yeah, thank you, Mario. Also, shout out Aaron to get it into the folder quickly, too. It's a team effort over here at Oilers Nation Everyday.
Yep, get pucks deep. We win as a team, we lose as a team. Number one, that kind of ties in nicely to what I want to get to. Depth scoring. How about the boy Klim Kostin popping home 2 last night? He's down, back out of the top 6, I should say, and he scored twice. The first one was, a nice play on the forecheck, forces a turnover, slides it through the legs of John Gibson. The second one was just an unbelievable play by Mattias Janmark, who did a lap and a half around the offensive zone, finds Kostin, who makes no mistake. This guy is dangerous in tight. 7 goals in 27 games. Liam, what an addition he's been to the lineup. Even when he's not scoring goals, he's finding ways to be effective. But last night, he showed how he can be a difference maker for this hockey team.
Yeah, a positive impact almost nightly for Klim Kostin. And even, I saw a stat today, I can't remember how many shots it was total, maybe 18 from the slot. And Klim Kostin had 5 from the slot for the Oilers. So, and we saw his shot firsthand last night. He ripped one off the bar too. Like, he can shoot. He's a real offensive player, and he's just kind of finding his groove right now in the NHL. And I like too, like what he did after the whole Kevin Shattenkirk thing. That kind of all kicked off, and Klim Kostin was there to make sure it all ended pretty quick too, pinning Vetrano to the ice. So we haven't seen that a lot from many Oilers this season. So I really like just everything he brings, and also like kind of his humbleness too. Like I said, like in his post-game interview, he's like, yeah, I didn't deserve the hat trick tonight. I didn't work hard enough. It's like, man, you had like 7 shots in the game and you came so close.
He hit a crossbar.
He did so many good things. Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, I just love everything about him. I hope he's here for the long haul, and he's becoming an Oilers legend so quickly in this city. It's kind of nuts.
It's great. It is great to see number 21 doing what he's doing right now, and hopefully he can keeps it up. Dre is in, says that third line has so much chemistry, and that's a great point as well. Like that trio kind of being able to hum along, and even though Woodcroft will break them up for a couple of games, he throws them back together, and they just seem to pick up right where they left off. So the Oilers might be onto something there. The first goal of the game as well came from Dylan Holloway, and maybe not technically depth scoring because he did it off a feed from Connor McDavid, but still, his third of the season, he got a look up in the top 6, and Liam, he did not look a wink out of place. He was awesome.
No, and exactly, and you play into Dylan Holloway's strengths there. He's a high-end offensive talent. He's done it his entire career wherever he's been. If it's Okotoks or Wisconsin, like he's found a way to contribute because that's the kind of player he is. And hopefully, like he like you said, like he grabbed the opportunity when he got it and grabbed that goal. And shout out to our boy Zach and yourself for getting the first goal of the game on Dylan Holloway last night. That was big. And just hopefully this is kind of a sign of things.
Yeah, I didn't bet it too aggressively. But when Zach put in the group chat that Holloway was going to be up on the top line, I went and sprinkled $5 on him to score the first goal of the game, and then another little bit of money on him to score just in general. And I made out pretty nicely because of that last night. The $5 turned into like 145. So I was fired up when Dylan Holloway found the back of the net early on there. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl scored as well. We'll have more on that in just a second. But my second big thing is the big man, Vinny Desharnais, who, because the game was a blowout, actually got to play like a decent chunk of minutes last night. He played more than Tyson Barrie, Jesse Puljujarvi, Warren Foegele, and Dylan Holloway in that hockey game, logging just a hair over 15 minutes when he was on the ice. The shot attempts were 16-11 in favor of the Oilers. The shots on goal were 9-5 in favor of the Oilers. And I just want to look at how his splits came up in terms of the D zone and O zone starts. He started 8 times in the offensive zone, 3 times in the neutral zone, 4 times in the defensive zone, and 9 of his shifts started on the fly as well. So it wasn't a situation where, Woodcroft just had him in the O-zone and was trying to really protect him. Like, he played against the third line of the Ducks mainly. He started all over the ice, and he looked pretty good. For a big guy, the concern is never the physical play. Like, the physical play being there isn't a surprise. We knew that was coming. For me, I was watching more his foot speed, how he could handle things, and also how he moved the puck, how he could play along the boards when it came to jamming pucks free, breaking up cycles. And I thought he kind of passed every test I wanted him to. He moved the puck okay. Even that penalty he took, I didn't chalk that one up as like he was out of position, scrambling, couldn't keep up with the speed of the NHL. That was just kind of a bit of a ticky-tack call. So nothing wrong with that. I give Vinny Desharnais a big thumbs up, Liam.
Yeah, I mean, this was a good game for him to come into, too. Like, a weaker opponent, but either way, like, you've got to come in and make your stands, right? And that's exactly what he did. And for a big guy, I think he's 6'7", they said on the broadcast or whatever, and
yeah,
he moves well. He's got his foot speed looks good for the NHL. And for me, like, if I'm Marcus Niemelainen in the stands right now, I'm thinking, well, damn, I've got to pick up my game if I want to get into the lineup ahead of this guy, because he, like you said, he did everything right, and he had a really good game, and his interviews are awesome too. I kind of hope he sticks around for a little bit. I would imagine he's here for a few weeks at least.
Yeah, I liked the look of going 7D with 4 of them on the right side. It gave Darnell Nurse a break from Cody Ceci. And if you watched the show earlier this week with Bruce Kurlock, he talked about how, maybe it's a good thing to just give that pairing a little bit of time apart. And I thought the results last night were really, really solid. Desharnais did get a good chunk of time on the ice with Darnell Nurse as well. That was someone who he was rolled over the boards with. That was actually his most common line mate in the game. They played about 6 minutes together at 5-on-5, and they didn't allow a shot against when they were on the ice together in those 6 minutes at 5-on-5. So really impressive stuff from Desharnais. I'm not going to sit here and be like, hey, he's the answer. They're doing this the rest of the year. No. But I think it can be a good building block for Desharnais. And that ties into my third big thing, and it was just that, building blocks. A good game from Vinny Desharnais, a good game from Dylan Holloway up in the top 6, and also a good game from Jack Campbell, who finished the night with a .913 save percentage, allowing 2 goals on 23 shots against. A solid performance from him. I predicted the shutout. I was betting on the shutout. I would have loved to see it. He probably played good enough to get it, too, because neither of those 2 goals were his fault. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins lost his man on the one. The other one was just a little unlucky as well. So I like Campbell last night. I hope this can be a building block for him, because he's going to be getting the start on Friday night against the San Jose Sharks as well. And the other guy I wanted to give a shout out to was Ryan McLeod, who I thought had a really solid hockey game. He missed on some chances, but for the most part, he was buzzing throughout that hockey game. He was on the ice for one of the goals scored as well. When he was on it, the Oilers outshot the Ducks 14-6. He didn't get a bounce. He missed a couple of open looks, but the goals are going to start coming for this guy. So those are the 3 players who I kind of had highlighted as good building block performances, and Holloway, McLeod, and Jack Campbell. Your thoughts, Liam?
Yeah, I mean, for McLeod, for example, I think the big thing is just being in those spots. Like, he's getting there now, and eventually it will come for him. And playing on Draisaitl's wing, he looked good up there. Like, he looked like he belonged, and we know his speed and everything, so maybe it just kind of takes a load off him and not having like the full responsibility of being a centerman right now. So that could be something good. Like, we kind of spoke about Holloway already, but yeah, I think if he can just kind of continue to show some offense, like he got now 2 goals in his last since coming back from Christmas, right? So that's something positive on his side of things. And then for Jack Campbell, yeah, like that's the one benefit of Puljujarvi getting that penalty at the end was he got a couple extra saves to help that save percentage get closer to 900 and over and above. So he's just got to keep building it up. And like you said, like he played well. He played well in relief, honestly, for Skinner against LA. Played well last night. He's been doing well. He's been 5 or 6 games now where Campbell's come in and done a good job for this team. So hopefully this is kind of just something that is going to continue. Tomorrow he's obviously going to play because Skinner's not around still, and hopefully he just makes Saturday a tough decision for Woodcroft if it has to go to back to Skinner, or does Campbell earn another start? Like I think we're kind of getting to that point now, which is finally where we wanted to be all season. So it's good to finally get to this spot.
Tyler Mulick is in the chat, says, does he go back-to-back Friday, Saturday, though? When is Skinner going to join the team? You always seem to throw it out there, Liam. I'm not a big fan of going back-to-back same goalie both nights. I just think, again, put guys in positions to succeed sort of thing. So I would have Skinner, and the word is he's going to be flying back and will meet them in Vegas for the game on Saturday night. He's with his wife right now, expecting the birth of their child today, I think, actually. So big congratulations to the Skinner family there. But I would go Skinner no matter what Saturday. But I think you open the door for next week when you play the Seattle Kraken. You know, maybe it is Jack Campbell's net. Last time they played the Kraken, it was Skinner who got yanked, allowing 4 goals on 20 shots. So I think Campbell on Friday is playing to earn a start on Tuesday, not necessarily a start on Saturday. Deskra says, give Skinner the day off and let Picard play. I wouldn't. Tyler says Picard against San Jose then. I wouldn't. I go Campbell again. Listen, don't mess with a good thing here. He played well against Anaheim. Let him build on that building block. Calvin Picard, sorry, buddy. You can sit on the bench. You weirdly look like Mikko Koskinen when you sit there. It rattles me. I don't want you playing.
Yeah, I think too, just on that kind of stuff, like Campbell's just picking up his confidence again. Do you really want to bench him for your third string goalie? It's probably not the best luck in the world for the organization. And you also don't want to underestimate the San Jose Sharks. They do have some offensive pieces. Thomas Hertl, Timo Meier, like Logan Couture, they've all scored goals in this league. You don't want to disrupt that and lose the game against a poor team, which you should be getting 2 points against.
Yep, 100%. That game last night they had against LA was a 1-goal game for a good stretch of it. So San Jose can push you a lot harder than Anaheim did. It's not going to be as easy of a matchup. Dre says, funny how we get so used to McDavid's play that his goal seems like a normal occurrence. The McDavid goal was just absolutely filthy, and he almost did it like 2 more times in the game as well, trying to flip that backhander upstairs, and he was spinning around like crazy. But that goal was unbelievable. Any other player scores that, it's a top 10 goal on all the highlight reels for the rest of the season. Leon Draisaitl also scored just a ridiculous goal. I mean, to get it coming in that fast from Bouchard and have the presence of mind to drop your stick between your legs to get the right angle to throw it around the goalie is unreal. So my question for you is, what play impressed you more? Who had the more impressive goal, Liam?
It's so hard to say, isn't it? And it's just a credit to the two of them, like how highly they think this game. Like, it's quite amazing, actually, to watch it as often as we get to. So, do you know what? Like, the McDavid one was awesome, I think, because it was on kind of Zegras, too, which I thought was quite funny that, like, Zegras is this showstopper and McDavid just stopped his show right there and then. So that was nasty.
I like that.
Honestly, I think I might even give it to Draisaitl a little bit because we just don't see that often. Like, we've kind of seen the spinorama from McDavid a few times and the backhand and everything, and I'm not discounting what he did, but I think I'll give the edge to Draisaitl just for the fact I don't remember the last time I saw a goal like that.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was going too, is it was such a unique play that really showcases what makes Leon Draisaitl such a special player, in my opinion. Is, like, again, Bouchard's not just lobbing that puck in there. He's throwing it with some pace. Draisaitl's got a guy on the Ducks kind of on him too. And to just be able to think that quickly in traffic where, again, to throw your stick back for no reason. He's not like he's just trying to be flashy there. He had to get that angle if he wanted to score the goal. So I think that Draisaitl goal might get the nod for me as well, but I'm curious to see what people say in the chat. Cato's in quickly, says McDavid was a tiny bit better. So totally fair. They were both absolute beauties from the Oilers superstars last night. Someone was asking how much you would extend Klim Kostin for, and I do think we're getting there with the guy. We're getting there. It's not going to happen. I don't think I should say that it would happen in season, but when you look at his stats, 7 goals in 27 games, that's like a 21 goal pace over an 82 game season, Liam, and he's doing it away from the Oilers stars for the most part. This guy is finding ways to score in a depth role, and they desperately need that. Now, what you don't do is overpay a guy for 27 good games, right? This could very well fall off, and Kostin could not score a goal for the next 10 games, and you're talking about a guy suddenly who, is on a 14, 15 goal pace. But he is an RFA, and he's only 23 years old, which means you have 3 more seasons after this one of RFA eligibility with arbitration for Klim Kostin. So I do think it kind of makes sense to look at what's a 3-year deal for this guy. Someone's in. Jake
Yeah.
says 3 years, $2 million bucks, and I think 2 million is honestly a little bit rich just considering how short the sample size is. You know, if he ends the season, plays 60 games and has 20 goals, then yeah, sure, 3 years, $2 million bucks. I think if you want to buy some UFA years off the guy, you go up to $2 million bucks, but I'm not buying UFA years off Klim Kostin. I like the idea, like Egan has here, of 3 years, 1.5 million bucks. I think that's a really fair, even number. It gives him security. He likes playing here. This is a guy who struggled to find a home with the team that drafted him in the St. Louis Blues. I think he might enjoy the security of a 3-year deal, walks him right to unrestricted free agency. And it's kind of like, hey, man, you're going to play here. You're going to get $4.5 million bucks in the bank over the next 3 seasons. And then as soon as you're eligible, you get to test the market in unrestricted free agency. I think 3 by 1.5 is the deal I'd go after.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking somewhere between 1.7 and 1.25, somewhere like that. So I think that works. I would try and time up for the 3 years, but I would not go any higher than the 1.7, 1.75 range. Like, he just brings everything to the lineup that this team doesn't have right now. And I was kind of thinking, did the Oilers sign Zach Kassian to 2 deals, or was it just 1? I can't remember, but I was just wondering. Yeah, okay. Because I was curious if that kind of similar situation in a way of like a guy coming in and having a positive impact. So I wasn't sure if they signed him. I couldn't remember, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that's a good deal for him. You don't want to overpay him, but you know what's funny? I was kind of thinking about last night. Is like, this is one I want Warren Fogle to do for us, and not to just crap on him again, because we've kind of done that a little bit. But like, it's exactly what I want him to be doing, and he got $3 million or whatever it is, right? Like, I don't see Klim Kostin getting that, but like, he's playing well enough, I guess you could say, to warrant a $3 million deal if he was a lot deeper into his career.
Yep. He doesn't kill penalties, so maybe this isn't, or like Kostin, that is, doesn't kill penalties, so maybe this isn't a great comparison. But remember when, and I'm just looking up the numbers right now, so it was right before the 16-17 season when the Predators signed Tyler Yaremchuk to a 6-year contract worth $12 million. So an even $2 million bucks on the cap every year. And at that point, 16-17, he was coming off a season in 15-16 where he scored 16 goals in 81 games. So probably pretty close to what we'll end up seeing with Klim Kostin by the end of this season. And kind of similar to Kostin, he didn't have a lot of NHL experience. It was only his second full season in the league. The Predators gave him that long-term deal. He kind of delivered on it for $2 million bucks. He killed penalties. He hit double digits in goals every single season, even in the years where they didn't play 82 games. And then they ended up moving him to Seattle. He spent some time in Calgary, and then he just signed another 4-year deal in Toronto. But if you wanted to kind of push it with Klim Kostin, I think that 6-year, $12 million deal is one to... It's an interesting comparable, at least. You probably have to go a little bit richer because the cap's gone up since that point. So if you wanted to go long-term with Klim Kostin, you can maybe go, 6 years by 2.25 or 2.5 million bucks, maybe keeps him here. I would argue at this point, it's not worth that kind of a risk. And I would say going 3 years, 1.25 or 1.5 million is a better move because the Oilers are in win now mode, and that extra $700K, you kind of want that to sprinkle around to some other areas.
Yeah, I guess on like, if you're not putting in, like you said, like Yaremchuk was kind of a penalty killer, but what if Klim Kostin becomes somewhat of like a power play specialist in a way for this team, and somewhat like, I don't quite know where you would slot him in, but like they don't really take off the big 3 guys right now, right? Like in Dry, McDavid and Nuge, but like, what if Kostin kind of falls into that second power play unit and you put him in like the slot area and he's kind of just firing one-timers from there too? Like, he's a weapon. If you can kind of do that, maybe that earns him a little bit more money and you can buy a few more free agent UFA years from him. But as we said, like, he's becoming a fan favorite quickly. I would like him here forever. Lock him up for 20 years if you can. $2 million or less.
Ask the NHL for a special exemption so you can sign Klim Kostin to a deal that will run for the remainder of his career. I love that we're getting to that point. Vince is in. He's talking about Yamamoto. Yamo's always going to be on the table in trade talks. He's good. He plays with more heart than 3/4 of the team, but he's small, gets hurt, gets dominated by big guys sometimes. I don't agree with the last one about getting dominated by big guys. I don't see that in his game all that often. I love that he works hard. And another thing here, he's a big part of that locker room. He's a popular guy behind closed doors, and I think sometimes you want to keep a popular teammate around. Plus, he's signed for next year at $3 million. So if you're asking me to move one of those middle six wingers making $3 million, it's Puljujarvi, it's Fogel, and it's not Yamamoto. Although I understand the argument of him maybe having a bit more value than those two, which is probably the case.
Yeah, I just to follow up on that point, Tyler. I think I alluded to that the other day a little bit too. I can't remember what show it was, but like Yamamoto probably is the one people want. The Oilers shouldn't move him, but I guarantee like he's got value. And just the last point of him kind of getting dominated. There was a play last night which he got buried into the boards, which was, I think it might have been Benoit that did it, and then he came back like a couple of plays later and buried that guy into the boards too. So he's just a fearless player, and he's someone that the Oilers need to keep around. Like you said, there's also a video going around of him like barking. He's like, "Who let the dogs out?" And then he's barking as they go down the tunnel. So like, you got to have those characters in the locker room.
Yep, you definitely do. You guys are talking about some wild stuff in the chat. I'm not getting into that because this is a short version of the show today because, Liam, we got to get to the airport. Nation Vacation starts in a couple of hours, and tomorrow we are going to be live from Las Vegas. Flash this bad boy up, Aaron. Look at that. We got a fresh logo for the show as well, presented by our friends at AMA Travel, who make this all possible. We are fired up for the Nation Vacation. Myself, Liam, Bagmilk, Rick, Dan, Jay, Kennedy, Waz, Aaron, Gavin, whole crew heading down to Vegas, as well as 40-plus nation citizens who are going to be on the flight this afternoon with us. It is going to be a ton of fun this weekend. We're going to be doing the show same time, noon Mountain, from our hotel in Vegas. We're going to be doing a ton of content around the arena and on the strip as well. It is going to be a lot of fun, Liam. I'm excited. I'm fired up.
Yeah, I'm pumped to get away with the staff and just have a great time. Watch the Oilers on the road. I've never watched the Oilers in enemy territory before, so I'm pumped. I'm also like kind of pumped to do this show on the road in Vegas and just kind of see what that's all about. So yeah, it's gonna be an awesome time. So join us tomorrow and we'll tell you all about it.
Is 11 a.m. too early for us to have a brewski while we do the show? You'll find out tomorrow, 11 a.m. Pacific, that is. We're going to have a great time. Make sure you follow along on all of our socials and follow AMA Travel as well. Let's wrap up the show, Liam, with our betting.
Good luck.
Yeah, I'm sure we're not going to do very much betting at all. No gambling when we're in Vegas,
No.
Liam. We don't do that kind of stuff. Tonight, I'll give you my place. I like the Jets on the money line at -130. They let me down severely earlier in the week, but I don't mind taking them. And Colorado on the puck line against Chicago. Plus, take Quinn Hughes and Matty Beniers. Both of their shot props are only set at 1.5. Parlay them +167. Bang. What do you like tonight?
I'm going back with the same logic I had on Tuesday's show, I think it was, where I just went St. Louis Blues on the puck line against the Calgary Flames again. Home team, both teams kind of 50-50 at home and on the road, and St. Louis got the better of them the other night, so I'm going right back to it. And then David Pastrnak has 7 goals in his last 3 games, which is monstrous. So, I mean, the value is not awesome for a goal scorer at -112, but I mean, at the moment, like, it seems like you're better off. Like, I looked at 2 or more goals and it was +450. So maybe that's where you want to go with this. But he has been on a heater as of late. So I'm going David Pastrnak against the Kraken to grab a goal, and the Blues to beat the Calgary Flames +140.
Love it, big man. Joey says, I'm looking forward to more Tyler drinking wine stories. It's not going to happen. I'm not touching that stuff. Anyways, shout out to our friends at Betway. 19 plus, please play responsibly. That is going to be actually a wrap on today's show. Got to give a quick shout out to our friends at Star Mechanical who sponsor the guest line. Check them out, starmechanical.ca. They are Edmonton's top new home plumbing installers, and they have been for the last 20 years, and they're not giving up that title either. Check them out, starmechanical.ca. Sports Closet, Sherwood Ford tomorrow. Yes, it is a Sherwood Ford Giant Game Day edition of the show, and it will be coming to you live from Las Vegas. So, Liam, I got to pack up my flag, and we got to get going, I think. Hey, let's get it stuck to the wall. It won't come off. But anyways, see you boys at the airport. Everyone tuning in, thanks so much for watching today, and we'll chat with you again tomorrow.